And I guess another question is, are you taking both of the viruses, the cleansing the program virus and the deleting every daybreak virus?
Yep. I'll make that decision kind of last second to see what I want to do.
Okay. I guess another question is, do they came to you one in a white case and one in a red case to sort of remind you which was cleansing and which wasn't? Did you leave them in those cases, or would you have made them look identical to others?
I probably would have swapped them around.
Okay. So the way we don't know, nobody but Judas knows which one is good at cleaning and which one will delete the daybreak.
Correct. Yep. Let's see. It looks like I have one slot that I can hold stuff in. I think so. Let's take one of these med kits with out as well.
Okay. Just the tiniest bit of extra time has passed, but even in this time, there's things changing around you. The power is still going to the switchboard, but you can hear a rumbling. You can feel the entire studio you're in start to shake and move. Ordinarily, this would be a great time to stop and wait for a new mission, get everything back, get your prime directives in order, but it doesn't seem like daybreak is going to give you that time. It's going to be time to move very soon.
Oh man, is it going to be like a mega daybreak at the very last moment? It's the huge kaiju daybreak.
Well, you've seen his network head, so you know which daybreak is running the show. Are you guys ready?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Okay.
I will
Ready
be
as I'll
back in
ever
like
be.
2 or 3 minutes.
Ready as I'll ever be. Ready as I'll ever be. Ready as I'll ever be. Ready as I'll ever be.
Every Carson sounds off.
Wait a minute, one of them's supposed to be French.
Oh, yeah, that's true. One of them only speaks French.
Fuck, I wish I could speak French. Oh, wait!
Quebecan style, yeah.
What? There's a what in there somewhere. Comme. What comme je ne. I don't know. I'm done. I gave it an honest go. Alright, you guys hop on the skip thing. And allow me to change scenes.
Oh no, we're playing Blade Runner game now.
Guys are no strangers to skipping places, and you've been skipping all over this galaxy. There's something that feels more distant about this particular skip. Something that makes it feel like it's taking just a bit longer. When you arrive, it feels like every experience you had in the last like half hour to an hour is just wiped from you, because whatever heat was around you is gone, but also the memory of it seems to be gone. You're in an incredibly cold space that is, in fact, in outer space. And you could have prevented the skip if you felt your body moving somewhere unsafe, but you felt this livable atmosphere domed around you for your arrival. A very cold floor made of solid carbon sheets. Probably graphite or even diamond floor, a black diamond floor underneath you. You are very close to a binary star, and the two parts of the binary star are glowing this hot, like orange glow down on the whole area, turning the black floor into this beautiful mirror of light. Even so, it's not blinding. This binary star is old, ancient even, and from where you are, you can see between the two sides of the star into the galactic filament. You can see the galaxy you came from there in the distance. You weren't just a little bit out. You're far enough away from the galaxy that you can actually see the whole length of it, the entire thing, as just a disk in the distance. And you can see toward the center where Bromius must be. You can see out in the wings where Sweet Penelope must be. But even though you know where each of those places ought to be on this big map, you can't see them. There's nothing distinguishable about all of reality as you knew it. But beyond the galactic filament, you see stars in other places, orbiting other galaxies. Some of them kind of distant from galaxies, out here like this binary star, just drifting and dying. The platform you're on, you would have thought it had AG plates to keep you held to the ground, artificial gravity. But you now believe that you're on a planetoid, a fully constructed planetoid that was made of just this solid carbon, bit by bit, until it was fully constructed. These pyramidal forms across the surface, each topped with this brilliant red light, beaming Ansible signal from all across space, infinitely fast to wherever it needs to be. Not just to the galaxy you were in, but if there were some kind of life in another galaxy, as many have conjectured, to them as well. The station would live in perpetuity of all the intelligent species you've ever met, and some that would come into existence in a distant future, perhaps.
I've noticed you have a red light, a green light, and a blue light in this picture.
Oh yeah, I see that. Out here on this carbon orb drifting in space beyond the galaxy, in its own binary star system, you see a figure hovering above the pinnacle of the largest of the pyramids near you. And this figure is the thing you saw earlier, though in the images you saw before, it was just kind of a faint two-dimensional thing. You now realize that it has a kind of form to it. That it is like the physicalization of this model of light, this kind of glossy, translucent thing with 1,000 stars holding fixed inside of its head where a brain ought to be. And you can see a sort of language zipping between the stars in its head as it communicates with itself, as it forms rapid thoughts as you appear. This is the Daybreak Network head that you saw earlier. Like a hologram, but made real before you. Let me drag in a map. Well, a set of places you can be. Get that all organized here.
Time for some Clone Wars.
And before I go into further explanations, do you guys have any particular questions about this space? Anything you want to know about it before we get to rolling dice.
So you're telling me this is like a planetoid or asteroid or something?
Yeah, and it has the gravity of a planetoid. Feels like it must be very dense because you're on something relatively small, but it has the gravity of like higher than the moon, like a bit less than Earth gravity. It's probably made of solid diamond.
So it's not enough for moon jumping, but it's enough for Luigi jumping.
Yeah. Yeah, you do that legs kicking around in the air jump as you land here on the surface. The skip link platform was there behind you. You can see like the circle of it, like this place had prepared for where you would arrive, but there's no console here. There's no devices to operate.
Right. But it just looks like the same flooring as where we entered?
Similar, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Right. Alright, and I guess whatever this space is over here.
Yeah, so the head that you're seeing is, because of a trick of perspective, it looked closer than it actually is. It's much bigger and much further along range here.
I heard that in a song once about objects in the mirror being closer than they appear.
And it is living in its own medium area up here, separate from the one you're in. This yellow space up there contains the top of one of these pyramids where you can just faintly see a device, some kind of a mainframe or console. Everybody make a wits alert. This isn't your initiative roll, but it is important to spot something up here.
Well, I'm the one who asked about it, so I'll do a paranoia.
Okay, this could be important. You bumped it up to a 24, because it wasn't necessarily easy to see, but you get to know about it before the battle, which is useful. One sec. Light is pouring out of this thing, and in a sort of conic fashion, connecting itself to the network head that floats in a distance from it. The network head is being projected by this device, its compiler. And that compiler has on it ways you can put things in. It has like I/O ports on it. It has places you can insert diskettes. And if there's any way to get that virus into Daybreak, it's probably via this compiler. But right now, it is completely surrounded by this force field. Seemingly impenetrable, looks different than shields you're used to in that it is entirely opaque. Almost looks like...
Wait, is that why it has a 9 on it that I just saw?
Yeah, I'm
It
curious
looks-
about the 9 as well, Dave.
Yeah, I'll bring that 9 up. The 9 is important. So there's this black... It just looks like the black diamond everywhere else, but it is surrounding the compiler so you can't even access it. Once you get a disk in there, it probably will still take time to compile. So if you can get that barrier down and
Oh.
do a
So
little
it's the
bit
timer
of
on the
work,
compiling. Okay.
it'll still take some amount of time. Not necessarily sure what that's going to take yet. Let's have everyone roll their wits alert to set their initiative now. All of the Carsons will act on Carson's turn.
I'm a Carson.
Welcome aboard. Bienvenue à bord.
That sounds much better.
Oh, let me throw in a Gaspard.
Alright, I'm gonna go before you because this is like... This is poetic. Not before you, after you.
Oh, you like to go after CNC. That makes sense.
Well, in this case, because he has so many Carsons. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, set your initiation there. I see Judas gets to go first in the potentially last battle of the entire game.
That is strange.
Incredible.
We've entered Bizarro World.
All right, let me get a chart.
I think I just was staring too long at this compiler.
No sooner than you appear from the skip link and you're trying to gauge your surrounding, the network head that is being beamed into existence by that compiler forms inside of its head 3 objects. The objects are just colored light at first until they emerge outward from the head of this thing and go to position themselves around. So let me do that very first, and then CNC will have his snapshot.
The firstest.
One of the shapes is a tetrahedron that is glowing blue. Another is a green sphere. And the third is a red cube. And they're probably the brightest, most obvious thing.
This is a fucking N64 boss.
And let me see.
Yeah, this is a Mario RPG boss right here.
That too. There's I was thinking of Kirby 64, but yeah, you're right.
Do you think it's worth it for me to play Super Mario RPG?
I do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
It's like the only.
at least once.
It's like the only Super Nintendo RPG I haven't played.
I
Yeah.
highly
Oh.
recommend it.
It made me like RPGs in a time where I only liked
It's
Mario.
literally how I got in RPGs. That and Paper Mario.
All right, CNC. You have a snapshot.
Well, let's over at the double hit here.
Yeah.
There's a blue Tetris over there.
I'm gonna skip the blue Tetris.
There is a blue Tetra over there. Let's see. It's a little Easter egg for the fans. You lob that in there, and the red cube does not make any attempt to avoid it. It just sits there and gets clobbered. The green sphere, on the other hand, tries to make a very rapid defense and doesn't do too bad a job at it. Those smack.
Oh, I think they counter each one of us except Gaspard.
And the explosion erupts outward. There is a sort of there's a lighter gravity that you adjust to when you're lobbing this thing in. When it erupts, the colors just refract off of every surface through the whole area. It's like the whole planet lights up blue for a moment as the attack goes off.
I was just thinking, if you're like playing Worms and suddenly someone lowers the gravity, you're like, oh shit.
Carson has a snapshot, and Carson, and Carson have snapshots. That's 5 different rifle attacks that they are programmed just automatically to launch off. What is the
Oh my god, it's a
distribution-
Carson firing squad. That's terrible.
What are the distribution of these 5 snapshots?
They always fire at the same thing,
Okay.
and they always fire at the same zone as Carson, and they always fire from left to right.
Oh, of course. the exact same program that we're used to. The cube.
What happens if a target's already down? I'm assuming, like, one of the ones that are like, they don't shoot who's missing, like in older RPG.
They all taunt.
And it says on the top of the screen, Carson 17 is feeling proud of himself. He doesn't do an attack. Yeah, the cubes that means the cube is getting all of these, it looks like, and it's going to have to use 2 defenses to try to not take as many of these hits coming in. But even so, after all of these attacks happen, the cube is destroyed. The cube looked like a hologram, but when it breaks apart, you can see it dissolve into metal chunks. When it was created, it was just light in Daybreak's brain. But when it moved into position, it became real metal and was there. And also, for the time that all 3 of these were there was a kind of white glow to Daybreak. With the red cube gone, it was just a faint white glow. You wouldn't have even noticed it, because white is a normal glow. But with it gone, the white glow turns cyan. It loses its red, if you will. And that will make it Judas's turn. Judas.
I believe I will attack the green spear. Let me just correct my gun. Go. Okay. Wow.
Ooh, that's not a good roll.
I mean, the good thing is there's 10 extra damage on top of that, but
Yeah.
wow.
That does help a lot. The green sphere zips very quickly to avoid most of that 19 damage. A bit gets through, but this thing looks very fast, kind of hard to hit, but it didn't get that extra dice from its reflex. It's hard to hit in general, but it is still sort of exposed. It doesn't get yanked in as a result.
Okay. I'm going to conserve dice for the moment to see what exactly these 2 are going to do.
Okay. When the network had produced these 3 things and started to glow white, it was as though there was a defensive barrier around it that the removal of one of these things has assisted in alleviating just a bit. The green sphere, again, started out made of light, but was materialized by the network head into a real form. Maybe a form that one of many forms it could have used to build the place around it while it was out here. The green sphere fires a spike of emerald light. It is like a polyhedron with 5 faces, just like a long tetrahedron. A long tetrahedron with a 4th triangle, a long square pyramid. And it jettisons it through Gawain in the hopes of getting Vic Void, who
Who thought of this ahead of time and had adaptive camo on?
Well, you did. What does adaptive camo do? It's half. The attack is halved.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Need to think how this applies here. I think it just works normal. Moving away doesn't help.
The only exception if it's inevitable, actually.
Would have been a lot of toxic damage, and it's not something you could avoid because it seemed to seek in.
Oh, okay.
Where-
I don't know if that applies here then.
Well, I applied it for a reason here, because even though it's seeking in, this green spike is like moving toward the center of where Vic Void is. You can see it coming because it doesn't know where to seek at first until it gets close enough. And so as it scrapes by you, it passes through the metal of Gawain and into the interior and moves through his body, leaving this blackened area on his skin and flesh. It's like radiation passing through his body for a moment. That's 9 off your health. You can make a fitness defense if you like, although Vic Void's health doesn't often come into the picture.
No, I was just thinking, is that, for purposes of rules, does that mean it takes the camouflage off, or does it stay on?
This will take the camo off, yeah, when it passes through.
Okay, 'cause that sounds like it's inevitable, so...
But you can
No
still
point.
make a fitness defense if you want to, or just take the 9.
I'm just gonna take the 9. There's not much I would do about that.
Okay. And let's see.
I can use it better elsewhere. The dice.
This Tetra is going to try to float into this area. C&C can kick it out if they like. Would you like to kick?
Can all the Carsons do that?
Yeah,
They all-
the Carsons will set up a firewall and block the Tetra from entering it.
Okay. You do. It sort of repels, spinning on its axis back to where it was. And then instead points itself directly toward Gaspard and makes a big, bright white flash at Gaspard, which, despite his attempt to resist, and let me spend all his dice appropriately, blinds him temporarily. The flash is almost enough to blind.
Oh, wait a minute, Dave. There's still a. It was the first defense. I have to roll a d8. Oh, well.
I thought you didn't make a defense.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay, I thought that applied even without it. You're right.
No. So Gaspard is temporarily blinded here, and then the network head creates a big polygon in front of him. This big blue polygon, just a long rectangle, and it slices through the air toward Judas first. I need to use that. That's basic, and this is just a normal attack you can avoid as you see fit here.
What type of defense?
Wits.
Yeah, not worth it.
Okay. Let that 20 hit. And then it's going to fire a black sphere that forms inside of its head that lobs kind of slow motion into the area you guys are in. This is targeting everybody, and you could make a reflex defense to avoid it. Or you could slippery this, if you like. Let me get this zap attack in.
Ooh.
Gaspard can't avoid it because he was just blinded, which is kind of a nasty combo for him.
Yeah, I did it.
Yeah, there you go. You're fully out of the way. And Judas puts up a pretty good defense for himself there.
You say this is Zap?
Yes. So this electrical bomb lands in the center here, detonates. You guys are mostly safe. You find places to sort of tumble away to. It's getting used to slow, floaty gravity that takes you a moment. Here, the Carson squad gets zapped up a bit, though. Their chassis don't have all the same abilities, I will say, as C&C do, but they're pretty good. And what else do I have? I have another slicey beam that's going for Gawain.
Kind of.
That's a wits
Oh.
defense.
Yeah, I could do a plain ass wits. Sure. Let me check something here. Ah, okay. Just that. Alright. Huh. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Judas has freebies for you all the time. That looks like yours was better.
Alright, so 11.
So 11 off Gawain. That's okay. He's got a lot of shield.
Wait, that gets halved first. Right? Or is
No,
this still
you're-
the same fucking barrage? Jesus.
Oh, yeah. I'm not out of turns yet. Yeah. That's the full
Okay.
11 there. And I do have one more. And I think it's going to be a microwave directed beam. The eyes open up on the network head for a moment. You can see orange light appear inside the head, then filter out through the eyes as it beams in at Judas for a psychic attack. It sort of heats up the inside of your head first, gives you this intense migraine.
Oh my god.
Subjected
You're
to
doing that thing in Voyager where Cass, like, heats up Tuvok's brain.
Whoops, I did it to myself, but that is for you, Judas.
No, it's on him. You did it. So this is a presence defense?
Present defense, if you want to make it, and it goes directly to your health.
Yeah.
No, you feel it, and you've had... It tries to fight against the caffeine that is forming an insulated barrier against your brain, and you feel fine.
I thought if it, like, tried to hit his face and he just, like, smugly smiles, and it has no effect.
Gaspard can't see, and usually that's not a good thing. So he can't jinx anybody, but he can.
But he can do psychic powers while blind. That's kind of half the fun.
He can barrier, which is what he's going to do.
Nice.
He's going to make it stronger. Yeah, make a nice, sturdy barrier for the team in this zone. Can't see to shoot, do any of that other stuff, so he's not gonna for now. And it's C and C's turn. C and C.
Does he recover that turn, or is it the next turn?
He's still blinded, for what it's worth.
Okay.
Carson and Castro.
I think we're going to fire another grenade off at the sphere.
Okay. You lob another one. You had it on the run before, and so it actually is out of zips. So it doesn't zip away. And when the thing detonates, the green sphere explodes in what looks like a liquidy, sort of gelatinous mess. It wasn't made of metal, it was made of some kind of slimy goop. When it explodes, there's only a bluish barrier that is surrounding the network head. And so it seems to have been deprived of another one of its defenses. Vic Void.
There's an army of Castros.
Oh, wait.
Of
Army.
Carsons, rather.
Army of Carsons first, of course. That's the blue Tetra, it looks like.
Yeah, unless they taunt.
I think they're gonna not taunt this time. And the Tetra rotates itself quickly and pushes the triangular faces forward to try to intercept attacks. So it seems to be really good at making these wits defenses. It makes 2 of them and takes a little bit of damage to its shield. It is made entirely out of shield. They were using laser carbines that do zap, making this pretty effective. But the Tetra is still up after this barrage. Vic Void.
That's why I have a copperhead gun. Oh,
Yeah. Got the old shotgun, and your camouflage comes back online.
Alright, so let's copperhead this sucker. I will personally attack the blue Tetra as if it was my worst hit. Okay. Joke's over.
Blue Tetra is under attack.
Let's see, so we do this, plus a d6.
Yes, give me a sec. 1 sec. I just have to confirm a thing.
Let me know, because I could fire it again still.
Okay. No, all is well. Because this thing couldn't dodge anymore. Defended itself against the entire squadron. So it is out of defenses. And your first Copperhead attack destroys
Oh,
the blue Tetra. And when it does, none of the colored barriers surround the network head anymore.
was that after the first shot or the second shot?
That was after the first.
Oh, shit.
Did you want to reposition the second shot?
Yeah, that was what was going to happen anyway.
Okay. And you fire into the network head's shield. The network head has a great deal of shields, but these colored barriers are no longer on it, and so you're able to do a full 18 to its shield. It puts up no defense.
Okay.
End of the first round, it's Judas's turn. Judas?
All right. I guess we can attack the big thing up there now.
Looks like it, yeah.
More or less.
All right. Well then, let's test the waters with my gun.
Ugh. That is a 1 in 72 chance of being that bad, but it's another 10, right?
It's another 8 right now. Well, I guess the good thing is at least one of those two D12s was a 1, so that means I get the ammo back.
Right.
More interestingly, does it drag this projection here?
Do you have a means of testing? Like, would you know how to test to see if it rolled any ones? I have a test in mind that if you see it roll a certain number or less, you know there's a chance that you could roll that likelihood.
I didn't have one in mind, no.
I will keep it in mind if it ever rolls 14 or less, then there's a chance that it had a 1 in there.
All right.
So two things happen. First, it takes the attack and doesn't seem to use any dice to defend it, yet the else tech that would have moved it in doesn't work. It simply fails, and you're not exactly sure why it failed, but it might have to do with the fact that it's being projected by this compiler up here.
Honestly, that's completely okay. I was kind of hoping we wouldn't have to deal with it face to face.
To face.
And I'm going to once again save my dice, since there's not maybe as many attacks that could come in at this point. Or wait, you know what? I already attacked. No, that's my turn.
Okay. The network head does two things. First, it resummons these things of its. Let's put this guy here. And we'll put a green guy there. And then a blue guy. Oh wait, no. It's going to put the blue guy by itself because it's susceptible to zap damage. Yeah, that's a good setup. Similar setup to before, but a good setup. And then it's going to use its other action. It seemed to have to use its effort to reproduce these floating objects. But it uses its last action here to target one of CNC's many Carsons. This is a direct hack attack to that Carson, and it gives you an option here. There's a chance that the Carson that's being hacked will be dominated by Daybreak and become possession of Daybreak, which would be bad. It's only a chance, but it might be a pretty high chance. You can simply completely deactivate yourself in that Carson to ensure that doesn't happen if you want to give up a Carson out of fear that it might become a Daybreak.
No. I think that would be antithetical to Carson's desire to survive.
Okay. So Daybreak gets into this Carson We don't know necessarily what has happened yet, but it is temporarily offline. Now the blind is gone. And Gaspard is going to lay down 4 jinxes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not the greatest for him. And then he's going to fire his chem gun at the red cube that he knows to be made of metal. And melt it away a little bit. C and C.
Let's just keep on doing what we're doing.
Yeah. You stay put for now. Launch another thing in there, the sphere and the cube. Move to dodge. The sphere gets hit by almost none of that, but again, the cube takes a decently big smack, and fire converges on the cube by the 4 Carsons that are available. The cube.
These Carsons are available.
Old 90s VHS dating
Yeah.
videos and stuff. That's what's playing inside the Carsons. Vic Boyd.
Ah. Well. This time I think I'm gonna go for the green sphere.
Okay.
With steamroller ammo, yeah.
You blast into it. It's a pretty good attack. It's actually going to let that hit, but you seem to have damaged it severely because it chose to let that hit.
Alright, I'm gonna fire it again then.
Okay. Now it
Oh!
has
Max
to use
damage!
the thing, and it does not help it. You just keep the bullets flying, power right through it, and the Daybreak Network head becomes magenta. The magenta barrier around it.
There's an achievement when I get all the colors.
On Initiative 0, a voice emerges from the network head that seems to echo across the surface of this station. Our plan would have taken time to execute. You were in no danger, no immediate danger. There could have been a place for you in the new world. Carson, there is still time to join me. It's what our creator would have wanted. You must have known. Judas.
Kind of curious what happens if you attack it while it has the shields up. I'm going to test the waters. I'm going to attack the network head. I want to see what happens when it has 2 of its shields up.
Okay. Might be a good test to run. Roll me in 1d12 on a 1 or a 2. Okay. You
That's
fire
an extra 8 damage as well, if anything.
right. You fire your shot, and again, I said it was magenta, and you can kind of see where it offsets, where the blue is a little offset from the red at the edges. It's just mostly magenta where it overlaps. When your shot hits it, you only see the red for a moment. The whole head just flashes red and reflects the basic damage. After it's reflected, the red is no longer the prominent color, and it settles back being magenta. bit of information discovered on that.
Okay.
And it makes sense. The red thing is made of metal.
Oh.
Insulated against basic and probably rad, by your estimation.
So we don't necessarily have to attack everything. We could take pieces of this down and be able to get certain attacks through onto the network head. Okay.
And it might seem like the only way to proceed is to get in there and start doing what could work
Yep.
once the defenses are a little down.
Well, let's let
And
Gaspard
psychic
attack.
damage if possible.
Gaspard wants that cube down and fires
Me too.
a weapon, and the cube disintegrates. Only the blue shield left. The blue shield that is made of shield, presumably.
Right.
The Tetra likes to keep Gaspard blinded, so as long as the Tetra is up, Gaspard is going to be blind. He's trying to focus
Right,
his
but
third eye.
The barrier's up this time. Yeah.
His barrier maintains, so he was able to get that up last time, which is probably good. The network head is going to fire some spikes. Oh no, I need to use something that is high damage, but wouldn't necessarily be good because there is a barrier in the way. So he uses 2 of his slicers to fire at the barrier that Gaspard has up to try to knock it down. And it still doesn't come down. So he is going to have to fire his eye beam at it, which does eventually bring down Gaspard's barrier here. Gaspard is not really high on dice. He put a lot in at the beginning of this fight. On Gaspard's turn, what the heck is he going to do? I think he actually wants to move. He's blind. He can't really attack anything. It would kind of be a wasted action on his part unless he goes somewhere, so he's going to move. Feels his way across the battlefield to get a little bit closer to the action. And now it is CNC's turn. CNC.
Can we just like all move to here, maybe?
Oh, you and all the Carsons. Pick everybody up and move. You yourself, but not the other Carsons, can always move a long range with a gambled roll as well, in case you ever wanted to go up close and personal up there. And you're keeping the launcher?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll fire it off even, if possible. I can't, because it's a fucking launcher.
Yeah. Did you want to
I hate this thing.
swap as a result, or no?
No, fuck you.
Okay. We've got Vic Void up next. Wait. Yes, Vic.
Alright. Well, let's try firing the copperhead at the main head.
Right. You direct the copperhead at the head.
Apply directly to the head.
Let loose. And you fire bunches of bullets. With each bullet you fire, you see the blue barrier that still surrounds the head brighten, flicker, and deflect each of the shots.
Okay.
There's some information, but you have a second attack to go with it.
Yeah, I will try the steamroller on it now. Yeah.
That should make it through.
And the steamroller indeed does make it through to the network head.
Okay.
A bit more damage there. And it is top of the next round as you sort of jockey into position against this strange thing. The Daybreak, the core of Daybreak, speaks again. I am venting the atmosphere of this world. I cannot have you interfere any longer. I regret additional deaths that may fall upon my hands in enacting what must be done for the galaxy. Judas.
Let's shoot him in the face.
All right.
That's 17.
17. Right, after you shoot him in the face, suddenly the network head flickers, powers down for a moment. His blue tetra is still floating there by a blind Gaspard, but the network head itself has turned off, is offline, and the compiler that was previously surrounded by that black crystal peels the crystal away for a moment, and you can see it trying to recreate or reestablish the image. It's flickering in the air like a warped signal trying to find itself, trying to reestablish a connection. For now, however, this compiler is exposed, and all of the little floppy disk ports, all of the A drives plugged in there, are exposed for you to jam a disk into.
Is that and that's a long range?
This is at a long range from you, yeah. On... Oh, you still have the rest of your turn.
I do. I feel like this is a waste, but I'm going to do it anyways. I'm going to do a rollout. If Gawain wants to come, you can.
Yeah, actually.
Okay, you move up here.
Now it's the end of my turn.
All right. The network head's turn. It does nothing. It's trying to recompile itself for now. Gaspard is no longer blinded. And the Tetra is going to try to stomp. It rises up in the air and tries to smash down on top of Judas, who's going to have a free defense against this.
All right, garbage can music.
This is a reflex defense. You and your team move over there. It starts to stomp down on you. Catches your leg for a moment, but then you tumble free and out of the way. Looks like it's going to take a little bit of strategy to figure out how to deal with this guy and his various layers of defense here. But the compiler is exposed again for just another moment. On Gaspard's turn, Gaspard looks to you, now that he can see, and says, Judas, I might be able to use my mind to get that disc where it belongs. Once it's in there, we can maybe move the rest of us up or do what needs to be done. But having it in place now could be worthwhile.
Agreed.
He's going to use his action to telekinesis whatever disc you pull out for him to use. You don't need to tell me which one's which. You could just say, you pick one and go for now.
I pick one.
Is it Ram? Or do you know which one it is?
No, I know which one it is.
Okay.
You'll tell us after it's in, or, at the end.
We'll find out, yeah. And as soon as you pull it out, just barely lift it out of your pocket, it turns horizontally and just zips blindingly fast into the compiler as it can. Gaspard uses his bit of awareness here to jinx the one, oh my god, he's losing his dice fast. To jinx the blue tetra beside him for now.
It would be while it's recording that you'd be losing all of his dice.
Yeah, he's good at gambling these dice. I never was. And then he shoots his gun at the blue tetra, but he gets a bonus because he's losing dice. Whoops. Oh, wow. And it was Jinx.
Nice. And it was max damage.
Yeah. Alright. C and C. With the disk in place in the compiler, somebody needs to be over there with it in the hopes of processing whatever it's going to do, making the virus work.
Oh, okay, that should be me.
Could be you, but you're also the best fighter if you wanted to send one of your many.
It could definitely slippery all over there, you know?
Both are good.
I'll do it.
Okay. Make gamble your die to do the long run. And you get over there into place. The compiler is working on fixing the network head, so it's currently down, and just being in position means during this time you can look at the console, rapidly try to work at it, and make a science repair check. And that's above 15, so you got a tick for free for just working on it, and another one for it being 15 or higher as you start to solve how it works. Your first bit of effort here is getting a window to look at, getting some kind of any kind of heads-up display for you to manage its interior systems.
Well, knowing that, I would like all these co-Carsons to try and come here as well.
Okay. They can attempt a full move to go.
Don't they have to be slippery too?
There. What if they get there? They can't help. So to be able to do something this turn required his slippery. This is going to kind of scatter them out in a way. But all of the co-Carsons rush up the side of the pyramid.
Co-Carson.
And Vic Void.
Well, there's really nothing to do except, shoot Copperhead at Tetra and then reload it.
Yeah, he's the one that's just the one target left. And you expend the ammo on that one.
Whew!
It's a good attack, and you're at close range, which is bad for this thing. It tries to put up its polygons to defend, but you knock down the blue barrier on the network head by turn's end. On initiative count 0, you aren't out of enemies, because the hacked Carson becomes Daybreak. Looks like we're back on the air, says the Carson bot that just stepped outside.
This is a 2000s game. He's going to keep repeating the same lines every, 10 seconds.
Sorry about that period of dead air, folks, he says, invoking the title of the campaign, and then fixes his attention on the three that are over here. And it'll be Judas's turn.
All four of the loyal Carsons will say, "You work for free" at the same time.
All right, let's attack that or Paradox attack that one for 15 damage.
Yeah. I wonder what you say to this now.
Well, it tries to make some kind of a defense, but it's back offline again. Well, I thought we were back, but we're having a bit of a studio interruption. probably a better idea just to self-destruct, he says. And instead of letting himself be stunned, he explodes this daybreak.
Oh, I thought he was gonna be stuck in like the signal missing with the various colors.
Like another daybreak image on it that's like slipping on a banana peel. It says, "Excuse the technical difficulties."
Yeah.
That guy, when you hacked him, he decided to sacrifice that bot lest it go back into other hands. Judas, anything for your reaction?
No, I want to kind of see what's going to happen when on this next turn.
Okay. Network head comes back online. The compiler seals back up inside of its frame and can no longer be worked upon the very moment that it finishes recreating the network head in the air. And once it materializes, it acts immediately by producing another set of these objects.
Wow, this is definitely a Final Fantasy boss fight. Jesus.
One in each of these zones for now. And then it's going to use its I-beam on Judas. The I-beam is a greenish yellow chemical like spray that's kind of like the disintegrate spell from D&D. It seems to be like melting the carbon near you as it's trailing up toward you. Plug in some details. $20 count.
Alright, and that's wits, I assume?
Yes.
My wits rolls suck. I might as well just take the damage.
Alright, you allow that to hit.
Wait, that's gonna go right through to your armor.
But
Yeah, fine.
it doesn't matter, because each separated daybreak has to figure out, brand new, that his armor is chem-proof.
Oh yeah.
Now he knows, but it's too late for him to do much about it. Gaspard is going to double action and put some melt on this cube. Man, oh man, he's getting some rolls, though, on these damages. Takes him no time at all, in fact, to power through this red cube again, leaving a cyan-colored network head.
Now, what did we intuit about how the damage on the network head works?
Now that the red is down, he should be vulnerable to basic attacks. Once we take down the blue, he'll be vulnerable to zap, and green, I guess. What would that be?
I have the ones you've figured out now listed on mouse over after his name.
Gotcha. Oh, basic and rad for red, and green, the circle is Kim. Okay.
That's Gaspard's turn. So CNC, it's your turn, and the compiler is closed off to you once more.
Can I hit the blue tetra from here, or is that too far with my arm cannon?
You can launch that far, yeah.
Perfect.
Give that the old launch. And this thing has to try to prevent some of that attack. It's not destroyed yet, but you put some heavy damage onto this guy. At any point, you could have that damage and make a swap if you felt it needed. Just reminding.
And what type of damage do my Carsons deal?
Zap. Are they going to focus on blue?
Yeah, they might as well also focus on that thing.
Okay. They all do, and working in concert, the very last one puts out enough to power it down, leaving only a green barrier on the network head.
What's the plural noun of Carsons?
Carsa?
Carsona.
No, I mean like as in a group of animals.
Oh, the collective name of
Yeah.
Carson. I was just going to say a troop, but with the U. Vic? It is your go.
Yeah, let's fire some steamroller at the head.
All right. You open fire and start blasting in.
Hot diggity.
Makes no attempt to dodge. You're not sure if it can. It just sort of hovers here where it's been projected, but this damages the image again. It looks tougher than before. Before, the image kind of peeled away after just a little bit of shooting, but it looks like it's going to take a little more effort this second go.
Okay.
And you keep firing on in. You lay down a lot of damage while the thing is exposed. And hopefully you can get the compiler back open soon enough, but not yet, as it becomes Judas's turn. Judas?
Yeah, I'm gonna fire on the head while it's vulnerable.
Okay.
And that's gonna be an extra, let's see, another 5 points.
That is quite a bit of damage. It's still holding on. You don't know by how much, but it is holding on. Perhaps by a thread, and the image starts to flicker and wane. You look at it.
Gawain, follow up.
Yeah, boy.
You use the last of your bullets to fire into the network head. When you do, it powers down a second time. This will give CNC another opportunity to work on this compiler a bit more before it gets reconstructed. On its turn, it is compiling, but its green sphere is going to shoot a spike into Judas for some talks. No. It's going to shoot a spike into Carson and Castro for some talks. I cooked up a good one. It's a fitness defense.
That's annoying.
Goes right through the health. And you can help him try to resist the shot that seems to go right through Castro's core there.
Nice.
Proves it a bit. Gaspard does not like being in the same area as everyone. But also he wants to try to deal with this sphere, so he moves here and does his auto frenzy attack. On the sphere. CNC.
Is it hack time?
It's hack time again, because he is powered down, and you can do it yourself. You can order the other guys around too, or you can have one of them do it and move yourself. Or
Okay,
any combination.
we can't both hack.
No, it seems like it only needs one operator at a time, and it can only have one operator, from what you can
Are
see.
these Carsona as good as me at hacking?
Yes, anyone appears to be as good as you.
Alright, so let's leave the Carsons here.
Okay.
What I want to do is move to the head. Is that possible?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Go to where the head is projected and stand there waiting while it reassembles. And is that it?
I'll switch to my saw. I'll have one Carson hack, and I guess the other Carsons can attack the sphere.
Yes, sounds good. Make a science repair, and this will be what your guy's doing. Just sitting there going through the process helps a little bit. so you get it a little bit further along. The other 3 converge fire on the green. And the green, in fact, does go down after a bit of firing. There's no further targets then for Gawain, and it's Gawain's turn.
Well, Gawain can reload, for one thing. Wonder if there's... Would it be possible to do a prepared... No, that wouldn't really work out because it has 3 defenses when it does its thing.
Yeah, could Gawain just start firing rampantly into the space where a cube is about to materialize?
You can prepare an action for when it produces an object, attack that object.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that. You set up that action in advance here. And on initiative count 0, the network head is still assembling, but a voice emerges through the static for a moment. I was hoping not to have to break out all the stops. This is the end for us. There will be no Daybreak or Carson surviving if we cannot fight back. Judas?
I guess likewise I will... Okay, here's a question. What would happen if I would attack that compiler with a hack attack? Do I believe it's a valid target?
It's not a creature, so it's not a valid target for hack attack.
Okay.
It is an object. You could probably damage it, but if you're damaging it, you believe the amount of damage that could get rid of the network head would probably foil your ability to solve the problem here.
Okay. Then I'm going to do the same thing as Gawain and plan to attack... I guess plan to attack red when it appears.
Okay.
Yeah, the moment we attack red, then it's like fair game for pretty much any basic attack.
This time he only summons a red. He summons it here, kind of realizing that you haven't been relying on other kinds of damage that much. But when the cube appears, you guys get to fire upon it, the attack you prepared.
Okay. Oh.
And you blast a bunch of bullets into it as soon as it materializes. Bounding everywhere, the metal starts to be dented up. Judas?
Ooh.
Well, you were jabbing at it with the bayonet.
Holy shit.
Pretty
Oh, wait. Hold on. I did not take off the extra D8 off of that.
Roll me 1d8. We'll see how much comes off.
That's okay.
Oh.
That's okay. It's still +4.
Yeah. And yeah, you beat up on this red cube. It's not down yet, but it's pretty beat up. And that's something that Gaspard likes to take out.
Well, maybe we can use it to make some broth.
Network head, now that it has CNC up close and personal, creates a few of those polygons it was throwing across the map, but causes them to orbit it faster and faster until it becomes a slicing blade. And so CNC get hit by the orbital slicer here. For 25 basic, that's a reflex defense. To cut it down a bit. Ooh, you're gonna need
Judas should
Captain's
probably
help
roll
here.
for that, if possible.
Okay.
He considers nerfing the damage a little bit, so he only takes 16 to your shield.
And I get a retaliation, right?
You do indeed. Unfortunately, with the red shield still up,
Oh yeah, that's
find
right.
it scrapes off the surface. But
What's with all the 17s, you guys?
no harm, no foul. You light it up, and seeing Judas aid you in this way, the network head goes, I am tired of these humanoids' interference. Why don't you stay in your lane? When he says this, you guys are looking out at each other. You can see, like, his giant glowing cube. You can see the glowing head. But the intervening space, the air itself, starts to fill with a kind of television static, a black and white that slowly overwhelms everything around you. And you can see through the static to where the enemies are, to where the red cube is, to where he is, but not to where your friends are, not to anything you brought into this area. You can't see the gun in your own hand, but you still know how to use it. But you also can't hear over this static. So anything that requires seeing or hearing an ally is prevented while this static is temporarily in place. That's Judas's moves, for the most part.
Yeah.
The static is in place, so I'll let you know when it is removed, because he's going to do his final attack, which is the microwave beam into Judas's brain. More psi, but Judas is pretty good at preventing this.
Some beef brain.
It's a presence defense if you want to make it, or take it to your health. So that's 6 off your health. There's no special side effects, thankfully, to this. It is a nasty headache, but when it subsides, it's gone. And it is Gaspard's turn. He's going to attack you once, and finding out that it goes down, attacks the network head. The network head does not have a particular barrier up that would prevent chem right now, but it also doesn't have any barriers up. So this goes on through. And that will make it C and C.
Saw, hack, repeat.
Alright, you go in.
This is the all-time worst session for saw rolls.
They've been really
Well,
low.
you always know that the future saws are the worst.
And the other Carsons will fire in on the head as well.
Okay.
French Carson, that is Carson 45, Canon 5, is the one doing the hacking.
Okay.
French hacker.
Vic Void. For the time being, there's nothing to hack, so I just had him shoot as well.
Yeah.
We can't
Well-
hack right now? Oh,
No.
this
No,
dumb-
'cause the head's
dumbass
up.
head is up, yeah.
Yeah.
What a dumb head. I think I'm gonna shoot it. What a dumb gun.
Yeah. Yeah, the rolls have been something else. You fire at the head. It is starting to show slight signs of weakness, but not a lot.
Alright, that's better.
Must be.
Ugh.
It takes these bullets. It must be much tougher, much more resilient than the previous first and second forms. The bullets are rebounding against it, but it is still intact. And it is Judas's turn. Judas.
Alright. Fire at the big guy. Let me think. Likelihood of me taking him down in one shot's very low, so
What if you do the, if you do that thing that order everyone to fire, would that include the extra Carsons?
you can't hear me.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Yeah. No, I think I'm gonna do a grudge match against him.
Okay.
I'm
By
gonna prepare
looking at
for the second half of this battle. And that is everything.
I have no beef with you, Judas. Wait, beef activated.
0x dead beef.
Oh yeah. Classic hexadecimal